While you were exploring this, the research and then the execution of the script, then getting the drawings back from Alex, what was the interaction of Silat and FMA? Parang that was an area that was mentioned sa Bladed Hand then, I think.
Yeah.
Parang feeling ko, were there any areas of FMA that you were looking into that and now you have a greater appreciation for? Parang sometimes I do that in research. Parang, may mga areas of exploration pala na hindi ko pa na ano yung subject.
I was taught three different styles of silat yung natutunan ko. Because for the Bladed Hand, I took lessons with one of the silat masters. Namatay na rin. Si Ka Ibrahim Hushin. He was the coach of the Philippine national silat team before. Tapos, Maranaw yata yung style niya.
Silat. So, ano yung distinctive?
Well, to my untrained, not expert eyes, hindi ko pa ma-distinguish. Pero, I also learned kay Bot Hokano is a family style, I think, of Yakan. And then I learned another Yakan style from another friend. So, okay. I think nagvary sila in terms of aggression.
Parang ganun nga yung nakikita ko eh. Because of course, sila is so, di ba, parang depicted in film like The Raid, tapos John Wick.
Yeah. I see the guy trained him there, di ba? From The Raid.
From The Raid, yeah. Si Iko, at saka si maliliit na guys.
yung kamukha ni Amoy Bisaya.
Oo. Pero po siya, mga astig pala sila, di ba?
Putya killer, ano?
Sesep something. Sesep.
But, yeah. So with Ernest naman, I think, ako kasi I really fell in love with the Illustrissimo style and it kind of suited my body. Yung Lightning, mas firm yung stances. Tsaka slightly wider. Sa Illustrissimo, mga maliliit yung stance. Para ka naglalakad. So,
very casual. Si Coach Arno.
Tsaka maraming nakatagong hiwa at taga. Sneaky. Maliit lang kasi yung movement. Whereas the other screamer styles, lalo na yung mga balintawak, 12 pares, very pronounced. Long, big arm movements. Some of them have raised elbows. Balintawak is very in front. Makita mo yung mga drills nila, naglalaro lang sila magkaharap. So may quadrants lang sila with their stick. Pag nakaganyan, and always vertical yung stick. They almost never do the horizontal strikes. Almost never. But everything's happening here. So nagkaganyan.
So what attracted you to the Kiro? Other than your body type is
I found it to be the most classical looking. The closest thing to European style that I saw in all of the ones that I've met. Pero hindi lang dahil sa mukha siyang European, pero naintindihan ko yung pinanggalingan at saka yung idea behind it. This is not arnis na nakafocus sa sticks. This is really a sword style, which I enjoyed.
And that resonated with you. This is really a sword style. Let me get to the Hollywood questions. What do you hope readers, lalo na yung mga, I'm sure a lot of FMA young ones will pick it up. What do you hope they take away from it?
I hope they get curious about the truth behind the fiction and learn more about the tribes of the Sulu archipelago. And also, kasi may dream sequence dyan diba? That was actually a flash forward, medyo parang it's my statement regarding colonization and parang we have to come to terms with that fact that atrocities were done, and especially in Holo where that massacre happened. To this day wala pang justice yun and a lot of Bangsamoro issues are rooted in the colonization of their territory and the forced annexation. So parang it may be an entertainment piece lang, this comic book. But there's a lot kasi behind it. That I'm hoping people would get curious about what really happened in the 1770s. What was the Philippines like? What was the archipelago like? What did it look like?
Nowadays, yung the young ones will recognize only the world of Artikulo Uno movies, di ba? Sina Luna, ganyan. So this is a great, of that. Like, how awesome was it that it was almost eternal warfare dati, di ba? Government sanctions, piracy. The fact that the Moros were and were mostly unconquered and they repelled
by the Spanish.
By the Spanish.
They were so in the everywhere except Mindanao.
The Spanish
except
rule.
Sulu.
Yeah.
The Spanish tried to get a foothold in Mindanao by throwing Caviteños Chabacanos into Zamboanga. The Caviteños are the original Chabacanos. Eh.
Oh, shit. How awesome it would be kung may
Kaya may mention ako.
Oh.
Kaya ako may mention ng Chabacano dyan sa,
kaya pala, sabi ko,
sa prologue.
Binash off ko na lang.
Yan. Kasi yun yung pinanggalingan nun. The original Chabacanos of Cavite. Because that's where the Manila galleon trade was rooted in. Eh. The galleons were built in Bacoor Bay.
Oh! Wow,
they sailed off from Bacoor Bay to Acapulco and returned to Bacoor Bay. So when I say Manila, sakop kasi ng Manila Bay yung Cavite. So parang considered Manila.
Manila pa rin yun. Oh. So that was the shipyard.
Oh, yeah. And so yung doon nangyari yung pidgin Spanish.
Because the sailors would come down and they would try to stop with that.
So nangyayari doon nag-evolve yung language na yon.
Yeah.
And then when they were relocated to Zamboanga, syempre naging Bisaya na rin yung
They got assimilated and then the Patwa just evolved from there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But so there's a lot that went into the fiction building.
Nagrabbit hole ka nga, Jay. Astig. Good man, I hope you get to write that one someday. Yun man lang yung the Caviteños being thrown into the Spanish trying to get a foothold. That's fascinating.
Yeah. That one naman, I learned when I was, hindi ko pa nalalabas yung documentary ko about the culinary relationship between the Philippines, Mexico, and Spain.
Yeah.
Pero when I was filming around and learning things, I filmed a lot in Cavite because of the galleon trade emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I learned na the Chabacanos, the originals were the Caviteños. Kasi ako, my first exposure to Chabacanos were some of my relatives who lived in Zamboanga.
Oh, okay.
So doon ko naririnig yun. And they would, when I was a kid, that's all I thought it was. Yun pala. Cavite? Ha? Totoo ba?
Paano nangyari yun? Wow.
So yeah, because they had to get a foothold in Mindanao. They built that fort pillar in Zamboanga and then through the Caviteños that way then.